Well, a very good morning and welcome to beautiful Dubbo for the Junior Northern State Conference of Touch Football New South Wales. James Preston and Jason Stanton with you. And I'd just like to start by acknowledging the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. I'd also like to pay respect to the elders, both past, present and emerging, of the Wiradjuri Nation, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal peoples from other nations who are present, and hope that we have a very productive meeting of all the minds here today. And we are certainly looking forward to some terrific touch footballing action. Stanto, it's great to have you alongside me here today. This one should be a good fixture here between the Manly side and the Northern Beaches. Northern Beaches wearing that white and blue horizontal stripe kit. How do you see this one faring?
Yeah, this one's particularly exciting. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was the grand final to start it off. Manly and Northern Beaches, very strong clubs, and bit of a rivalry out there at the Northern Beaches between these two clubs. So this is going to have a lot of intensity in this match.
It's pretty warm conditions to start with as well. The sun is already biting. It's expected to get up to about 32 today. Just taking a quick little look at the current temps too. It's a nice morning, but I'm sure these players are going to be feeling it come about midday. Around about 17 degrees at the moment, so not too bad, but that sun has got plenty of bite in it, and it will be Manly who will get first use of the ball here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of added spice to this one, James, because the coaches for Northern Beaches, Nathan Wong and Harry Berryman, are actually great men's players from Manly. So that's a little bit of extra spice in this one.
Well, there is the siren. Manly with first use of the ball, and straight up the guts they begin with here. So they'll look to roll it forward and perhaps launch a strike raid right towards the end. Working for that strike dump. Not a bad one to begin with already. The cutout pass is on. Oh, good touch just at the death. That's smart play already from Manly, showing their hand early. They'll head back towards the middle here. Sergi drops it down. Once more, they come at the line. Oh, the pass was on. There was a little gap that opened up, but slippery conditions early on, just popping out of the fingers as he was trying to take that mid-flight.
Yeah, it's a little bit dewy out there, but it's a really good start there for Manly, and particularly impressed there with Northern Beaches. They weren't flustered with the speed or the lateral movement there at all, so they've sort of hit the ground running as well.
Out it comes here to DeJesus. Once more, big dummy here from Blackberryman, one of the captains of this Northern Beaches side. Back to the middle he comes now. The touch is made. Last play here for the Northern Beaches. They'll really slow things down. Not much doing. Blackberryman tries to jumpstart things. Quick hands here. Nice changes of angle, but very well read in the end there from Kobe Reid.
Yeah, interesting just even to start the game. The game plan's coming through a little bit. Manly look like they want to run those early sweepers and attack running into the line. Northern Beaches seem comfortable to pull it up and run static. So a little bit of contrasting styles there. We'll see how it plays out. Changeover
already here, though, for Manly. Good field position to start for the Northern Beaches. They've looked pretty sharp with their first use of the ball. What can they conjure up this time as Boyle plays it? Now back to Blackberryman, who fires it wider still here to Berryman Duff. There's a lot of berries going on out here. Why not? It is the country after all. Touch comes in midway through the count. Berryman Duff slowing things down and drop it off. Nice little strike dump. However, there was a little bubble there. Very well picked up from the referee.
Yeah, Manly quite clever. They're sort of been a little bit sort of physical in the contact without going too far. And Northern Beaches are going to, they're going to have to focus on controlling the footy, especially in this morning, with the dewy conditions. So yeah, we'll see how that one plays out as well. Northern Beaches meeting them here as well as they're subbing on, which is very good to see.
So up over halfway now come Manly, and at pace too. This is a great run. It's really set up an opportunity here. Just had to stop in his run for a moment there, did Stewart. Unfortunately, they've left it behind. So it was building there for Manly, just unable to capitalise on that occasion. Play on is the call here now for the Northern Beaches. They get the quick touch, and out now to Berryman Duff. Of course, we've heard that name plenty of times at higher levels throughout the last couple of years. They head up over halfway. Nash Ritchie now with a nice run. Straightened here from Baum. They'll pick it up and go again. And Manly, too much in the contact there.
Yeah, so this is where you're going to see something specific coming. You've got Blackberryman coming on here, a repeat set. So this will sort of give us a bit of a window in how Northern Beaches want to play today. Let's see what they run with a fresh set.
Well, here he is now, Blackberryman, getting that drop down. Just shy of that 7 metre mark. Great footwork from Blackberryman. They get the quick strike done too. It's on here. Richie has to just pull up on the run. Great sliding defence out there from the link. Blackberryman, long ball, bombing it over the top. Pop back onto the inside. Once again, really well tracked from the link position for Manly. Last play now comes out for Baum. Baum to Blackberryman. Drops it back on the inside. Baum, oh, they're changing angles all over the place. It's like Mr. Squiggle. Oh, Nash Ritchie through the middle, nearly there. Just caught at the death, though.
Yeah, can't speak highly enough for Blackberryman. Those that are a little bit older or know their touch history, he's a clone. He looks very similar to one of the best players that we've had of all time, Remus Gentiles from New Zealand. And Blackberryman looks like he's been YouTubing Remus because he's looking very similar and he's running similar plays as well.
Stanto, just wait till they start YouTubing you. There's some good stuff we can find of late. But unfortunately, the slippery conditions there resulting in a loose pass for Manly. So more opportunities here for the Northern Beaches to try and get on the board. Still 0-all. Now the score on your screen, or should I say the time on your screen, is just a guide. So too, unfortunately, is the one here at the ground. So only the referees know the exact time as it is play on here for Ritchie. Back to Blackberryman. They catch him. Now Berryman Duff. Oh, Blackberryman had a crack himself. Good touch, though. Coming in was Truman. Last play now here for the Northern Beaches. They won't have a strike dump to work with. So we'll see if they can just bury it towards the corner. Dancing around Benji Marshall style. Berryman Duff fires it off. Blackberryman, they've actually lost about 5 or 10 metres on that play there.
You know, interesting that you mentioned Benji Marshall, because that's a bit of the flow on. There was Remus Gentiles, then it was Benji Marshall, maybe Blackberryman's the next one in that story.
Wonder how Geordie Marshall King will be feeling about that. He's somehow been ruled out of the equation here.
Nah, Geordie's got his own career, mate. He doesn't need to go off the back of bench.
Touch comes in. Midway through the half here, as Long slowly crabs upfield. Waits for that defensive line to come out and meet him. They must do so or a penalty is enforced. Once again, stopping on his run there is Long. Sharp footwork. And this dewy surface to begin the morning. Long. Last play now. Here they come. Oh, I think that might have been played at there. It was definitely a hand out, and yes, they'll rule again here. So, official spot on so far.
And this is something that you'll often see in the higher levels of touch. When it's a repeat set, you'll often see an attacker run off, like what happened there in Manly, and bring on like a specialist or someone to run a specific play. So, keep your eye out for that throughout the day when there's a penalty or a repeat set.
Well, the man they've brought on is in the thick of things right now. Kobe Reed gets to ground very quickly. I think he may have dropped it on the way through. No, they're going to rule touch here. So there's a whole range of things happening on that particular play. Now they work it on. It's Masters, that man who's come out to try and change things. Here he is again. Now, I think for mine, that was deliberately passed into the defensive line. Yes, referees agreeing on that one. So there's the changeover, Stano.
Yeah, very good call there. What's interesting here is that these teams obviously know each other. Some of them play in the same team. I think ball down there. So what you're seeing in the defence is they're actually anticipating the attack because they know what's coming. So where the tries are going to come from is when you do a change-up, either a second phase or you look like you're going to the right and then peel back to the left. They've got to do something a bit different because at the moment the defence is dominating the attack.
Some good meters there from McMillan before hopping to the sideline. We haven't seen too much in the way of those subsets so far. It's been very stop-start to begin this one. And speaking of which, there's another penalty coming the way of Manly. I think at this point, both sides just really trying to get used to how slippery that surface is. Long drops it off. Quick hands, did well to take that in there. Baxter Stewart. Back to that 7 metre mark as Long comes out with a couple of dummies and just crabbing across field. So lots of patience so far about this set here for Manly. Now drop it off again. Long having a crack himself, decides to go Long. Well tracked once more though. This time it was Cooper. Last play now here for Manly. Long pass comes again. They're not going to be able to do much with that though. They're getting up off the line very quickly.
Yeah, hopefully you're picking it up there watching at home that it's a bit of a chess match, but clearly the defence is anticipating what's running here. Like we're seeing really good plays from both teams in attack. and the defence sometimes is not even having to dive. So that's another bit of a bit of a trigger or something that you look for. If the defence is handling the attack and no one's even having to dive or scramble, then you've got to try something different. You can't keep running the same plays.
Well, here is Berryman Duff with a little strike dump now, getting close to that line. Oh, good pressure coming across in that link position. Now, he was convinced he got the try. He's kicked the ball away. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen a penalty for that.
Yeah, he was trying the bluff. I think I've tried a few of them back in my day, and anyone that wants to copy me, they're going to have to slow down a bit because these boys are super quick and super skillful.
So Richie denied, and then, it's dangerous for Berryman Duff. That slippery surface, he couldn't quite pick up the ball. We've seen plenty of handling errors so far as a result. I'm not sure if it's coming across on the screen, but Stanley, we can definitely see it here. You can see little blades of, I'm not going to quite say frost, but there's a lot of liquid on the surface of this grass. Yeah,
it's a little bit dewy, which I guess shows how impressive the ball handling's been overall, because they are running lots of plays. They're not shy. What I'd like to see here, James, is I'd almost run like a second phase play on the way in, because they're defending so well. I'd almost like scoop from about here, attack, and then like return it to a player, then dump again. I'd almost like to see something like that, like we call second phase, to break it up a bit, because the statics seem to be being handled.
Well, so far the Northern Beaches have definitely been playing with a higher tempo and looking for that strike dump. Manly more, I suppose, attuned to just slowing things down and once more doing this patient kind of play so far, as Masters just slows things a little bit. They've been very used to that so far, Manly. Now they'll have a crack though. Masters, the ball was on. Very well stepped up in the defensive line though. It's probably a take that had to be made there from Charlie Boyle.
Yeah, very good defence there. I think that was probably, a really good opportunity there for Manly. I almost thought they would score if that ball could have squeezed through to the link.
Masters wanted to have a crack himself, but again, you're seeing those slippery conditions really causing a few problems for the handling. Stan, I'll ask this for you. I mean, you've played for a long time. Is it more difficult with conditions like this compared to full-on pelting rain?
Yes. Yeah, this is rain. Rain, you generally make the adjustment and you run slightly different plays. When it's like this, you sort of want to, you want to play dry footy and you can almost play it. And so you sort of get a bit sucked into just playing, regular touch rather than wet weather footy. So, yeah, you're 100% on with that.
Well, here is Sergi now, middle of the field, dropping it down about 10 shy of the try line. Quick hands. It was on there for the Northern Beaches. They just couldn't get it out to the wing quickly enough. And they've recovered well here, Manly. They're going to say no touch, are they? No touch indeed. Yeah, so play on is the call. Thought they certainly came up and put a stop to that. The Manly winger. The referee didn't call the touch. Towards the middle they go now. Here is Baum. Sergi crabbing across field. They didn't step up here, Manly, so another penalty coming. It's the first one we've seen of that notion.
Yeah, now you'll see that quick change we were talking about when they've got the repeat set and Black Berryman comes on.
So Black Berryman out there. No Berryman Duff at this point. Those two have been working in tandem with one another so far, but Baum, who is one of the co-captains in the 7, there he is. He's also looking to create something. Great ball over the top.
It's
for Black Berryman. He gets it to ground in time. I think we've got our first one here, Stanto. Yes, we do. Try time for the Northern Beaches. They lead over Manly in the 18s division.
Yeah, that was really sharp. And that was a case of a player not really being beat. Like, the Manly defensive line seemed to handle it, but it was just executed with such precision. Like the quick release from the ground, the long ball from Black Berryman, and a great put down in the wing there.
Now, if you are wondering why they've changed ends here, that's because we're playing 25-minute matches, no breaks, and the two sides do change the ends that they're running after a try is scored. So here come Manly with a chance to hit back through Blake Long. Taking it forward to the line now, gets a nice little strike dump. They'll slow things down now. Kobe Reid, they've worked the overlap beautifully. The pass isn't a great one, but I think they've got there in time anyway. Yes.
No, try.
It is indeed a try. They got there in time, beating that cover defence. And Manly go in. You're not quite convinced, Stanto?
No, I think that was a 50-50, but something happened there. I don't know if it would have come through, through the sound, but something absolutely extraordinary is that the actual defenders were actually yelling out the play they were going to run before they ran it, and they still couldn't stop it. So I thought that was quite extraordinary, and it just sort of shows that these boys know each other.
It was a very deep passive play as well. Kobe Reed about 5 metres behind the play itself. You don't often see it that deep, especially at the 18s level. Here is Berryman Duff popping it back to the open side. Black Berryman over the top. Oh, not a bad pass it was on. Just a little too high though for the winger.
Yeah, and that's an example back to your other point there about the wet weather footy versus the gets a bit dewy. Or that's what they've done. There's really a dry a play you'd run in the dry. So that would have been really hard to execute for Northern Beaches.
Now an offensive push there with the ball, knocking the defender backwards. That's why we've got a change over here in favour of the Northern Beaches. So Boyle will touch it. And now Berryman Duff to Black Berryman. Those two once more, thick as thieves, working through the middle. Forward they drive. Now Berryman Duff. Lovely pass. Oh, they open them up like a can of tuna. And they go through. No one in Cooey. 2 tries to 1, the Northern Beaches lead.
Yeah, that was very clever there, James, because they run, like we talk about static plays where you're trying to almost run around the defence, or very lateral, or like direct plays when you're running through. And what was really clever about that sequence is they've run a couple static plays, but then they've run the direct play, really running at the line, almost like a rugby league or a rugby union play. And then Manly had to adjust, couldn't handle it. So really, really clever sequencing there from Northern Beaches.
So work to do here for Manly as Long comes forward, about 15 away from the line. Masters back out there. He is the talisman. Here he comes again. Oh, lovely little floating pass back towards the middle. Well read, though, in defence from the Northern Beaches. Midway through the count now. A pop it here for Truman. Masters slows it down. Last play now, and again, we're just seeing the slippery conditions here, causing all sorts of problems, especially from the play the ball area.
Yeah, that's because you've got you're actually, I know it's probably a little bit technical, but when you're playing in the rain, you almost hold the ball facing up, like with your hand under the ball, and turn it to dump. When you're playing dry footy, you'll hold the ball from above because you've got grip. So that's what you see when you're dumping. See how the number 4 there for Northern Beaches was holding up, facing up? We might come back to that.
Oh, what a ball here, Berryman. It's nearly on, but it's just floated forward and also been dropped in the process. So either way, not a try there for Cowper, but we're just seeing the electric footwork there from Black Berryman.
He's sharp, isn't he? Yeah, so hopefully you get a bit of a visual from that at home. What I'm saying is if you can imagine your hand under the ball with the ball, facing up, that's generally how you'll hold it in the wet. Whereas in the dry, your hand will be on top of the ball. You'll almost palm it or grip it a bit like a basketball. And that's what we're seeing a little bit here today.
So Masters at full tilt, gives it away here. Oh, great touch in the end coming across. It's nice play from Dalby Ball faithful. He's managed to get the turnover as well in the process. Really good sliding defence and a bit of a chat back too, so they'll be marched further upfield here, Manly. They can ill afford that. They already trail.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration, so they'll have to get their focus back here because they're only 1 down and there's still plenty of time for them to get back in this match.
So here is Berryman Duff now. A little jink and a jive and then off the left foot, picks up another 5 or 10. This time the Northern Beaches slow it down. We haven't seen too much of this from the Northern Beaches side. They've been operating at full cylinder for most of this match, and Kobe Reed has been told to head off to the side here. Is that a forced sub there, Stanto?
I'm not sure. The referee didn't have the signal. I wonder if he had a bit of blood on his arm or something. He was sort of pointing down, and there didn't seem to be. Referee didn't seem to be too animated. So yeah. Well,
he's gone straight to the medical staff, so I think that might be the case. I was potentially thinking it could have been a case of the back check, because Kobe Reed was the man who was pinged for that. But no, they are tending to him on the sideline. And speaking of sidelines, no one coming anywhere near that play from the Northern Beaches. Another try for them. Now it starts to get a little bit interesting. 3-1.
Yeah, Black Berryman's definitely. I know I'm going off very early, first game, 10 minutes in, but I think Black Berryman's put this tournament on notice. He's looking outstanding, James.
He's very sharp. I mean, I've seen the big lawnmower come out and cut all these blades of grass. I don't think we need it when Black Berryman starts dancing around. Just use his feet.
Nah, he's clipping all of them. And what you'll see when he does that quick release play, when the dummy half gets around the side of him, he's way more dangerous. Because he's so quick on his feet, jumping around a bit, sometimes the dummy half doesn't know where he's going to go.
Here comes Long and fires the long ball. No touch completed. Beautiful pass there. Blake Long stopped on his run, straightened things up and then fired it left to right. Manly are back.
Yeah, very clever. They're going against the grain, sometimes we call that, where they've gone a sweep to the left. And Northern Beaches, overcompensate going that way, and then Manly going back the other way. That's a really clever play from Manly. I'd like to see more of that in these last 6 or 7 minutes.
So Berryman Duff gets us back underway. Black Berryman also out there, so they're certainly not putting things in the rack just yet. They're not trying to defend that lead. Those two strike weapons out there, they'll definitely be searching for another try here. Berryman Duff. Back to Black Berryman. Just shy of the 7, Berryman Duff with a little pass to play out the back. Now they've flung that away, and yes, it had to be another set there. I think quite smart play, really. There was no way that ball was ever getting past the defender. He let it sing anyway, though.
Yeah, and again, we've seen that Manly really good defence. Like their talk's good, they're scrambling well. They're definitely in this contest. They just got to stay composed.
Boyle coming to the line. Good touch made, though, from Bridgewood. Back to the 7 they go. Still a few more plays up very quickly as well was McMillan. Good urgency in defence from the link. Boyle out to Black Berryman, and now Berryman Duff. Crabbing across slowly but surely. DeJesus. And another penalty coming here for the Northern Beaches. They've definitely won the count so far. Hasn't been the most disciplined performance so far from Manly, and on that occasion pinged for not coming up to that 7 metre mark. No mistake this time from Masters. Black Berryman threatening to unleash the dancing feet. Here he comes now. Oh, what about that from Black Berryman? They've said he's been touched just in time. Goodness me, that's done my back out just watching it. Here is Black Berryman again. More dummies than a yellow and black book at Dimmicks. Over the top they go. A lovely ball there. Berryman Duff fired it and got it exactly right. Cowper goes in, and now there's problems for Manly. 4-2 with time quickly running out here.
Yeah, absolute superb play from Northern Beaches, and it's been really impressive the way they've worked their way through the contest and built through it. There was the early tussle. Then once the game settled, Northern Beaches have clearly taken a step forward, or gone to another level.
Well, Manly will need to do the same thing here to get themselves back into it. So Kobe Reid is back out there now. Not 100% sure what occurred to him. Could have potentially been a little bit of blood or something, though, as Jason Stanton pointed out not too long ago. But nonetheless, he is back out there, the 14. Here is Long now. Long shifts it on here to Keane. Dropped off. Last play. Lovely ball. Reid pops it back on the inside. This will be special if they can get it to ground. That's lovely play from Manly. Inside, outside, all over the place. But at the end of it, the only location they end up is over the try line.
That was great footy, but really entertaining as well. It's almost, I think I need a replay up here, James, because that was a great scramble in defence, but the attack just kept having one more pass, one more trick up their sleeve.
I tell you what, it was like me trying to go to Coles or Woolworths. I never know exactly where I'm supposed to be heading, but eventually I get it. Now Black Berryman comes forward, about 20 away from the try line. Berryman Duff, short ball, Black Berryman wrapping around. They just got there in time. And we're down to the final minute here, so ignore the screen in the background. It's a little off time, but here is Berryman Duff popping it over the top. It was played at, and it's play on. They just managed to snatch it in, and I think it's Nash Ritchie. In fact, it's Cowper who's gone in for them. Another try, and that should secure it here for the Northern Beaches. The margin is 2, and I think the clock is going to beat them, Jason Stanton.
Yeah, Northern Beaches there just putting the icing on the cake there. Manly had a bit of a sniff late, thinking they might be able to steal it, but Northern Beaches, they do look calm and composed, and this is definitely going to be a team to watch throughout the weekend, because this is very, very like mature and measured touch football from the Northern Beaches team.
And it's an incorrect play, the ball from Manly. You've got to play it square. They didn't do so on that occasion. So the change over here for the Northern Beaches, they won't quite rest on their laurels, but I know they've got this one pretty much sewn up and in the bag. Blackberryman, touch came on. Thought just for a moment maybe he was free with it. Now to Hazes. Touches in there and the ball comes free. No extra hand on it. So Manly with perhaps a final chance to launch a raid here. Masters back through the middle. Good meters straight up the guts like a bad curry. And into halfway they go. And they're lucky there, Manly, because Masters had overrun the play. It was all going to break down, but fortunately a penalty coming their way. Masters taps it. Slowly encroaches on the defensive line.
James, can you ease up on the curry? I just grabbed my belly when you said bad curry. You got me a little bit anxious there, mate.
I'm not sure what you had for breakfast, mate, but I went for spaghetti bolognese. A man that needs a lot of fuel. Masters, short ball, long, over the top. Oh, it's beat them all. It's a perler of a pass. That's the fourth for Manly. And they trail by just one here. I still think they might run out of time, though.
Yeah, the Manly, this is really interesting for Manly, as in I think they will gain a lot of confidence from this game, James, because Northern Beach is clearly a class outfit, but Manly have stuck with them. They keep scoring, they keep coming back at them. This is going to serve them well for the tournament. Don't be surprised to see both these teams there on finals day.
Baum comes forward. Here's again now with the follow-up run. Cowper. And there is the siren at long last. Blackberryman, all he has to do is make sure he doesn't pass the ball. Well, he's done it anyway. Baum continues the pop. Berryman, Duff, now Blackberryman back against the grain. He's opened them up and gone for it. Oh, Blackberryman. He's a gymnast with moves like that. Sign him up for the Olympic team. The Northern Beaches finish in style, 6-4 at full time. Jason Stanton.
Yeah, absolute superb start to the tournament. Really exciting, and if that's the standard of footy we're going to see, I think maybe everyone's going to have a few days off and just sit there and tune into Bar TV, because that was an absolute superb and entertaining game of footy.
Absolutely, and you think it's only just after 8 in the morning. Maybe they might still be working the cobwebs out, but not the case. It was frenetic, it was full pace, and at full time, the Northern Beaches beat their northern rivals, Manly, 6 tries to 4. And coming up here next, we move to the under-14 girls division. And all the action between Manly and Wallsend in just a moment here on Bar TV.